What's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Winters, and it is a cold one outside. Did I see a blizzard is about to hit New York City? Can we just be done with the cold weather? But speaking of craziness, well, you guys tagged me in a ton of crazy videos this week, so let's go ahead and stop all the fuss and let's start reacting. All right, you guys tagged me? What are you guys tagging me in? How are his nostrils so big? Did he just say his mouth? Oh no, oh my goodness. You know, when I give you guys the responsibility of tagging me in this week's videos, I don't mean you should abuse that power, because I feel like I've been abused. I got so many questions though. I mean, I know that thing was burning in there. My man is gonna be smelling mint for like the next month and a half after that. How is his nostrils so large? Are they stretched? Is it AI filter? Is this AI? I bet you that's what this is. This has got to be AI. There's no way that this is real. I know y'all said some crazy stuff in the comments. Someone says, does anyone else need this with the men in black? Yeah, I need that. Please, you guys need to stop tagging me and stuff like this, okay? I'm over it. She said, bro, I was eating. I know. Trust me, I know. And you think this is bad. What about all the videos that you guys tag me that I don't put on here for you guys to see? Yeah, that's right. It gets worse. You said, him, bro. I mean, like, seriously, how are his nostrils so big? Someone's got to explain this to me in the comments. It's got to be an AI filter or something. But then again, he got the toothbrush up there. So I don't know. Someone's got some explaining to do. All right. How do I pull the baby teeth?
Are growing in his big teeth. Let me see. Look, this tooth is already in. This tooth still won't come out.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what's going on there. When I tell you I have seen this issue multiple times, and when I say multiple, all the time, this is a really normal thing that happens, and this is exactly what's going on. You see, a lot of times when permanent teeth come in, guess what those baby tooth do? They get wiggly and they fall out. But every now and then you get a baby tooth that is rock solid, and no matter what you do, and yes, even if the permanent tooth comes out underneath it, that tooth does not move. And this is what we call ankylosis. Now, ankylosis just basically means that that baby tooth has fused to the bone a little bit and it's gotten stuck. And so basically it's not gonna fall out. And so even though these teeth literally look like they're about to physically fall out and you could just go and pluck them out like normal, they're pretty rock hard and rock solid. Now, this actually happens a lot in a baby tooth called the E, which is back here. It's actually where your premolars come up, and those get ankylosed all the time. And we actually can tell it's ankylosed because the other teeth will go up higher and this one will stay sunken down. And we also have issues in braces with ankylosed teeth. So if you ever had a canine that got stuck up here and it got ankylosed or stuck to the bone, we try and pull it down. Well, all the other teeth come up and that tooth doesn't come down, and then we have to get it actually pulled because it's stuck. Now, in this position for a baby, it's gonna be pretty easy to get it out of there because you basically just have to kind of pop it and pull it out. It may take a little numbing and a little bit of plier work to get it out of there, but most of the time, ones like these are pretty easy to get taken care of. And I would definitely recommend getting it taken out because it's gonna block some of these other teeth from coming out. And if it really is truly ankylosed to the bone, it's not going anywhere. Let's see if anybody caught it in the comments. Just a lot of people just hating on her for not going to the dentist. I'm sure she probably is gonna take them to the dentist eventually. She's like, do y'all take kids to the dentist today? Girl, go to the dentist. Stay out of my nephew's mouth. Take him to the dentist. If he was going every 6 months for a cleaning, they would have gave you a solution. Listen, I get it. And actually, I mean, she probably was just thinking what most people do, and actually what we tell people to do most of the time is just be like, it's fine, they're gonna fall out eventually, it's not a big deal. And the kid still looks pretty young. But in this case, if it's still hard and the permanent teeth are coming out and it's still not wiggly at all, yeah, you're probably gonna need to go get something done. And as always, I always recommend around 8, 9 years old, I would definitely go to an orthodontist as well, just to make sure everything is going well there, because sometimes we can catch stuff early and we can fix it before it's a problem later. And actually there down below, she said they did go to a dentist. He said that they will be pushed out by the new teeth, but I'm scared because these big ones coming in fast. So like I said, a lot of times when we see that, we're gonna make that initial claim, be like, they're gonna fall out. Now, eventually, if the other teeth are in and they're still hard in there, we understand, okay, well now they're ankylosed, now we gotta get rid of them. So more than likely next time she goes to the dentist, if they're not already out or they haven't fallen out, he's just gonna tell them, let's go ahead and get them out. Either way, still looks pretty funky. All right, I could never brush my teeth with bar of soap. That's weird. Well, that's because it is weird. And look at her go. She's just brushing her teeth. And actually in the thing down below, it says, I love my bar of soap. It gets so sudsy. People think I'm insane or crazy for doing this, but don't complain about pairing soap in their children's mouths. That's a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. And actually, fun fact, that's why a lot of people don't like natural toothpaste, or they have an initial issue with it, is because it doesn't suds enough. And that's actually because of this thing called sodium lauryl sulfate, which, guess what? It's basically just soap. And actually, weirdly enough, it's banned in Europe as well. And so that's why any good toothpaste brand, like our Zero Pro and our regular Zero, we actually don't have SLS, we don't have titanium dioxide, we don't have like all the weird dyes and stuff. So I mean, yeah, I mean, you want to find a brand that you can definitely trust, but yes, I get it, you guys like the sudsiness, but it's actually not good for you because it's basically this soap that's in all this stuff. So if it suds a ton, then you want to look at the back of your toothpaste and you'll probably see sodium lauryl sulfate or some type of sulfate, and that will actually show you that they are actually using this. So unfortunately, a lot of your legacy brands still use it. They have not changed at all. It's actually very few of us that are doing things the right way, I believe. You know, in our Zero, we don't have SLS, no titanium dioxide, we don't have fluoride, we don't have all the crazy coloring and stuff, but we do have all the good stuff. That's science back, like xylitol or nanohydroxyapatite. Another cool thing is our biotech product. We're the first in the world to ever do a nanolipid emulsion that actually directly targets the bacteria that cause oral disease for once. So I don't know, maybe just because it's sudsy doesn't mean it's good. And definitely don't think really brushing your mouth out with soap is probably gonna do much at all. In fact, if it's an antibacterial soap, it may kill all your bacteria in your mouth, which is bad. We actually have a lot of good bacteria we don't want to kill. And that's actually the reason why we're the first ever to do that nanolipid emulsion. It's a biotech product that actually only destroys the bad bacteria without harming the good bacteria. It's the first of its kind. It's actually really awesome. Someone did bring up, she said, can't you just get a toothpaste soap bar instead of an actual soap? But that's actually funny because that actually would be kind of cool. But it would get kind of messy after a while, though, wouldn't it? Did you curse a lot when you were little? I think a one-time thing as a punishment is different than doing it every single day. And I actually did have to brush my teeth out with soap one day, and it actually didn't taste as bad as I thought it would. And so my mom was like, really? It's not even that big of a deal? And I was like, yeah, it's not that bad of a punishment. But I don't know, have you ever brushed your mouth out with soap, and how did you like it? How to do a root canal.
When a tooth is decayed,
Let's see how well they do.
is the only option left. At the start, the dentist injects anesthetic into your gums, so you don't end up
Lidocaine.
screaming in pain later. Once the numbing kicks in, the dentist uses a high-speed drill to grind away all the dead enamel and dentin.
Actually, we use a slow speed drill because it churns up and gets all that decay out of there really good. The high speed drills are actually meant to kind of like polish up and get all the enamel out. But the actual decay, we use a slow speed round burr most of the time.
After a full round of drilling, the tooth looks clean and
Okay, it's all cleaned up, we
comes
see
the
it.
more intense part.
You can actually see the canals down inside. And fun fact, this whole area that you're seeing, this kind of hollow out circle area, that's where the pulp of the tooth actually was. So that's where there would be some red stuff, some nerves, some gunk, all that, but it's all been decayed and basically rotted down.
The dentist places a red rubber dam around
Okay, so we put the rubber dam around the tooth. That's actually to make sure that it's nice and clean and nothing from underneath gets in and infects the area. So you can actually see that's pulling the dead nerve remnants out. And now they're going in with a file to kind of clean out the roots. You can see there's 2 roots on this tooth. That one's a 3-root tooth where you can kind of see the heart shape there.
are washed out. Next, absorbent paper points are used.
Put some bleach in there to clean it up. We've got these little paper points to clean out all the bleach.
Is placed to fill the empty canal space.
Those little orange things are called gutta percha. They basically just kind of fill the holes. And then now we're going to be filling in the pulp chamber, which is where the nerve was.
Dentist etches the tooth surface with mild phosphoric
Okay,
acid.
we're etching it with the blue stuff to get ready for the filling material. And then we're going to do this in layers, because if you do it all at once, it will actually shrink and contract. So you got to build it in layers so it stays good. And then he's doing the final polish in there. And that is the tooth.
Shaving it down slightly and covering it with a custom.
And then we put the crown on top. Look at it go.
If you don't want to go through root canal pain, make sure you brush properly every day.
That's true. Definitely a root every day. You need to be brushing your teeth and doing it. Because the problem with root canals is it only is because you let that cavity get worse and worse and worse. You see, if you have a cavity in this area where it's only in the enamel, you can actually fix it. With something like a nanohydroxyapatite toothpaste, something like us, we can actually remineralize that area and get rid of it. Now the problem is if you let it go from here to go inside the tooth or from top inside the tooth, it's going to start to eat away at everything and then get into this pulp chamber, and then the disease, like you can see here, follows down this and then comes out the end. And that's actually what happens if you leave your cavity there. So early ones you can actually fix before it gets through the enamel just by brushing. And then if it gets through a little bit, you want to go ahead and get the cavity filling done before it reaches all that stuff in the center of your tooth. Because trust me, nobody wants to get a root canal. All right, I'm pretty sure I've seen this girl before. Oh man, yeah, it's getting worse. Lost more of this tooth today. I'm not a professional, but I'd say it's not looking good. And in the comment she says, I couldn't even withstand some mac and cheese. So yeah, I mean, that's obviously not good, right? If your teeth are rotting and falling apart like this, unfortunately not doing anything to them and letting them go, kind of like we talked about earlier. If you're starting here and you have a little cavity and then you have a big cavity and then it's filling in everywhere, well, it's going to start to eat away the pulp. It's going to start to go down the root canal. It's about to start causing all these issues. And it's not just that, but it happens with your teeth as well. In fact, you can start out healthy and that gum tissue will start to eat away and drop down, and you can actually see it here. You know how you start here and then your bone and everything starts getting eaten away until, guess what? You can just pull the thing out. And if you pause it and look at her canine, I mean, that was her canine tooth, and the whole front of it is completely gone now, which means that a lot of sugar or acid or something is getting on the front of these teeth that's really causing all this decay, and it's not stopping anytime soon. That is kind of wild though. That tooth is literally in half, which I understand why she's in so much pain. And regardless of what caused this, she needs to get it fixed. She needs to go to a dentist. She needs to get a lot of these things pulled. She's probably gonna have to get a majority of her teeth on the upper pulled and probably go into some type of partial denture or implant supported denture. But even then, if she's not taking care of it or whatever is causing this, it's probably just gonna cause the implants to fail as well. And a lot of people say genetics is an issue. It's actually not. It's the bacteria that your family is passing around. So it's kind of like familial because you're all spreading the bacteria with each other. So if somebody has a high amount of strep mutans, which is the main bacteria that causes cavities in your family, and they give it to everybody else, well, now they all have the ability to get high. So it's not actually genetics, it's just the bacteria or the oral microbiome. That's actually why we created the first ever biotech toothpaste in the world, the Zero Pro that we have, because it uses that nanolipid emulsion. It's the first ever in the history of oral care that actually specifically only targets one type of bacteria. We actually have two nanolipid emulsions. One targets strep mutans, which causes cavities. The other causes gum disease, which is P. gingivalis. Regardless of what happens, she still needs to get this fixed because it's too far gone. Oh my gosh, Chris says, I'm a professional now, hold still. Now, I mean, we're not gonna be punching people in the face here, but she is probably gonna have to get some of those teeth knocked out. And then Kay says, dental assistant here, decay can be caused for several other reasons other than poor hygiene, like pregnancy, true, increases acid, certain medications, yeah, dry mouth and causes a better area for that bacteria to eat away at your teeth. It does say genetics here, but that's not true. It's not actually genetics, it's the bacteria like we talked about. Why you gotta be so mean? Yeah, I mean, it's true. We don't wanna be mean here, guys. We don't know her situation. We don't know how she got into this. So yeah, you don't wanna judge, but unfortunately, regardless of if you're judging, not judging, anything in between, it doesn't mean that it's not real. The problem is not there and she doesn't need to get it fixed. So brush your teeth, and I would definitely recommend brushing with our Zero Pro so you're getting rid of that bacteria at the same time you're taking care of everything else. All right, we got an update.
I'm trying just about everything to get this popcorn out of my throat, and today we're trying a water flosser.
So obviously you guys know my thoughts on water flossers in the back of the throat. I mean, that's actually why we created the first ever water flosser that has the dual motor mode that actually is that safe, soft motor for flushing out the tonsil stones in the back. I've never seen someone do a popcorn kernel, but I can guarantee you that a regular water flosser like she's gonna get is gonna be really painful because they're not meant for that. They're meant to blast through hard teeth tissue. Definitely not meant to be going back into the back of the throat. So let's see how she does.
Oh God! Have you ever used a water flosser before?
Yeah. They're meant for between the teeth like that. They're definitely not meant for in the back of the throat.
Oh, that sucks. Something of color just came out.
So yeah, I know what that color stuff was. It was probably, you know, you bleeding because it damages your throat, and actually, like you just said, it hurts your throat and it sucks. And now you're in the ER. But here are my thoughts on stuff like this. So one, she said she got a popcorn kernel stuck in her throat. And I'm sure a lot of people have had stuff stuck in their throat before. Fun fact, almost always there's not something stuck in your throat actually. If it scratches your throat or cuts your throat, well, it's gonna leave this kind of itchy, scratchy sensation that feels like there's something stuck in the throat, when in reality, there's nothing in there. So more than likely, she could be shooting water down into nothing and getting nothing out of it. Now, number two is she's gonna damage it and make it worse by using a regular water flosser. There's a reason we made our AquaClean Duo and why it's one of the top selling water flossers in the world, is because it was not meant for just teeth bashing, which is what a regular water flosser does. It has the high powered modes for flossing in between and doing all that. And then we have the safe motor mode, which actually goes into the flushing with the patented nozzle tips and everything to actually flush out the tonsil stones and the back of the throat, areas like that. It's actually meant for that. If you're using a high powered water flosser, you're just going to literally damage, poke holes in, and hurt and cause more problems. And more than likely, there wasn't even a problem in the first place. She probably just needed to let it heal up and let that stuff get out of the way. Now, if she physically sees it and it's in her tonsil, it may not actually be a popcorn ball or kernel. It could be a tonsil stone, in which this case, AquaClean Duo would be great for that. I know you guys have been asking for this to restock for the past like 2 years or 6 months or wherever, how long it's been. And guess what? Version 2 is going to be coming out soon in the next couple weeks. So be looking out for that. But if this girl wants one, she can find me, and then we'll try and send her one of the new ones when it comes out. And if the popcorn kernel is still in there and causing problems. Oh my gosh. Wait, what is that thing back? Oh my gosh. Wait, what am I watching? This is all happening so fast. Oh my gosh, so this is from an account called Doc Noy. It says in the caption, DIY braces bad result, which in that case, that's pretty wild. And so actually at the first thing you're seeing there where they're kind of pushing with their tongue here is actually, that's a broken off tooth, a rotted out tooth. And in the front, if we go to the next part, oh, that's crazy, bro. That her teeth are literally falling out of her face. This is wild. This is one of the most gnarly videos I've seen in a while. So yeah, I think it would be helpful to once again go back to the thing. So if you have a healthy tooth like this one, well, if you leave it, the bone and everything is going to start dissolving away, and then you'll see that there's nothing left in there. So if it's rotted out and moving and things like that, well, guess what? That bone and everything is going to dissolve away with it. And then if there's nothing left to hold it, then yeah, I mean, you can literally just pull it out. Another thing is, if you're doing these DIY braces, a lot of people don't know this, but braces have prescription in them, and the prescription is torque and tilt and tip and all these things. And so if you put the wrong bracket prescription on, you put them upside down, you put something that's meant to do this upside down, and now it's going to pull things out the wrong way, you can actually do this where you rotate and you pull the teeth out of the bone, doing things in a wrong fashion if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, I mean, DIY braces, plus the other thing too is, if you're trying to move teeth on already unhealthy teeth, meaning that you already have some decay, you have some bad root resorption, periodontal disease, and then you just go slapping braces on it, it exacerbates that problem, makes it 10 times worse, 10 times quicker. So I believe I watched this video a little bit longer. She said that she had these on there for 16 years without getting them removed. That's another issue that I see with people doing DIY braces is once they try and pop off the brackets, they realize that there's glue left on their teeth and they don't know how to get the glue off. And they're too afraid to go to the dentist to get the glue off because then they're gonna find out that they did DIY braces. It's not good any way you look at it. Exactly what I'm talking about. That face, and then my face while watching. That really was my face. I think you could probably go back and pause. I was probably like this. I was like, ugh. Danica said, so she did her own braces. I'm assuming the braces pulled her teeth down and out because the placement, like, I don't know how this works. Well, it's probably a lot of things. More than likely, it's just because she never took care of her teeth and let them rot out and never took care of them over the 16 years. Plus the braces on top of it with maybe some bad torques and a bunch of other crazy stuff, making it even harder to keep them clean. And well, now you see where it goes from there. Either way, if you're thinking about doing DIY braces or going to, you know, any of the crazy ones that we've seen on this channel, well, that would be a bad idea because, you know, I want you to keep your teeth forever and not end up in zombie land like that because those are some crazy looking chompers. You know what else would be crazy too is if you didn't like and subscribe because I'm trying to get to 10 million and I can only do it with your help, okay? Or else I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe stop making these videos forever if you can't do that, okay? Anyways, I'm just kidding. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.